All right, everybody, welcome to the inaugural podcast. That's right, I've got my very own show. I am actually an owner of something. Now, it's not a very big something, but to me it's big. I've always wanted to be a DJ, and I won't say my generation because it makes me sound old, because I'm not old. I'm only 28. But we had, the radio stations still, everybody regularly listened to them. And there was two radio stations in my area. There was 99.1 and 98.3, and those were our two local stations. And I applied at both of them and never got a call. And I was like, well, this is gay, This is some BS. I guess you got to be a female to work there, but whatever. I'm not that biased now anymore. I was really mad about that, but hey, it is what it is. It's I got a friend of mine. He'll be over here in a little bit. His name's Jacob. I'm not gonna say his last name. We still have jobs. We are just ordinary guys gonna bullshit around for 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, and then I'll figure out how to put this on iTunes. So by the time you're listening to this, probably a week has passed. Today, March 29th. It's cloudy here in Lewisville, Texas. I'd say it's probably 60, 68 degrees. It's got a little breeze, so it feels a little cooler, but it'll probably get sunny later. Texas weather. A little bit about me. I say a lot. I don't have any broadcasting experience. Like I said, I'm just a regular guy. I have a regular job in retail. You'll hear about that later on. And it is what it is. I never really liked that saying. I still don't like it, but now I'm more used to it. It's not such a, what else? My wife might come in a little later. I don't know. She had to work today. Today's my day off. And, I figured, why not just try, go for it. I've listened to other people's podcasts, and they say that they're, for the working man, but they all interview celebrities. And I'm not going to interview any celebrities. If I do, I get really lucky then. But for the most part, it's just going to be my friends and the people I work with and the people I hang out with on a daily basis, what we talk about. And giving you just a look into an actual regular guy's life. Who gets tired of hearing about celebrities? We've heard a rumor in our small town about something, and then we want to hear about it, but we don't want to ask about it. Well, this is what we do. We sit around our tables and we talk about it with our friends, and that's what I'm going to give you today. And you're going to love Jacob. I knew I needed to have him. If I ever was to start a podcast, I knew I had to have him. His laugh. People, you're going to love him. His laugh is infectious. The first time I met Jacob, I walked into work, and I seen this dude. He had like strawberry blonde hair, kind of Edgar Allan Poe-ish. He had a beard, and he was real tall and skinny. And he was behind customer service, and I'm thinking, who is this dude? And he just starts laughing, and I couldn't help but laugh. And if you work in customer service, it's hard as hell to laugh. But didn't really talk to him too much. I kind of thought he was, bookworm nerdy, and then he asked me for help, I guess, finding something for a customer, and I helped him, and then I kind of chit chatted in the break room, and then he's actually a pretty cool dude. I had to work at trucks one day, and my wife wouldn't be off till later. We only have one vehicle because some legal issues on my side. I'm not too proud of, but I should be getting my license back any day. But that's another time for another story. Jacob sees me sitting there and playing Boom Beach on my phone, just waiting. And he says, "Hey man, you want to ride?" Yeah, man, cool. You sure? It's not out of your way. And he's like, "No, man, it's cool." So we pull out of the parking lot, and at first I noticed he's going the wrong way. But I'm like, it's okay. Everybody has their own way of going places. So I wasn't going to, tell him what to do. He's the driver. So we get to talking, chit chat, and all of a sudden, we got something in common. We listened to a podcast, and I told him about it. I had listened to it. I told him about it, and he asked me if we could listen to it, and I was like, yeah, man, hell yeah. So we played this podcast. I won't say the name of it. They're gonna have to pay me if they want me to say their names. But anyways, we were listening to this podcast, and the podcast ended right as we got to my apartment, and that was cool. But he, he really liked the way, and I told him, how you download this certain app and you'll get this podcast. And then another time I had asked him for a ride. My wife would be later again. I'd have to wait around at my work for 2 or 3 hours. So Jake, I asked him, and God damn it, we got lost. And I don't know how we pulled up. I was using the map thing on my phone, and we got lost again. But we just kind of BS'd around until we got back to the apartment somehow. But you're gonna love him. I've only known him for a short time, but I can tell he's a good dude. I'll let him talk about his beard and his Edgar Allan Poe hair, and we'll get to know him a little better. But we're gonna take a break now, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're back, and I've got Jacob here. Jacob, you just heard my opening for this podcast. What did you think?
I thought it was a pretty good description. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. You didn't get offended by the Edgar Allan Poe hair, did you?
No, I thought that was actually pretty true. Actually, someone told me I looked like Bob Dylan, so, I mean, that's, so that makes me even feel better.
Yeah. So we've been sitting here talking for about an hour now, just BSing, getting warmed up, and you were saying your dad likes these Ted Blaylock paintings,
yeah,
or he likes stuff like that. Does he have his own study at y'all's house, where he has his own stuff and you're not allowed in?
No, he has this kind of thing where he likes to look at photos, and buy things. Like, he wants to fill his room with like a bunch of photos and like paintings and such, but my mom won't let him. So. It's just one of those things. He's like, "Hey, Jacob, look at this. Look at it." I'm like, it's okay. But like the ones he was showing me, like, I don't know, like, it was just online. Like the ones, I don't think they were his paintings because they were just of eagles and stuff like that. But I think he would totally be into this.
Oh yeah.
Like, seriously, like, they're awesome.
When we were just BSing around, I told you I got both of these for $12 each, and. I tell you, I love going to those resale shops. There was one over here called Thrift City, and me and Victoria went to go in it one day when we were at Wingstop that's over there by it. And we start opening the door, and the damn door's locked. And I'm thinking, well, there's no signs of, the whole building's black right there. That building is black. And, excuse me, I called the number on there. It's been disconnected. And I'm like, well, that's a bunch of crap. but that's whatever. When did you start working at where we work at? We can't say the name, but when did you start working?
The place. Yeah. No, I actually started working like 2011 in Maryland.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I started working, I actually used to work at a Taco Bell. So the funny story is my mom worked at Kohl's in Maryland. It was like in this place called Bowie. It's like between Baltimore, D.C. And I was like serving some guy who was purchasing some tacos for this store, and it ended up being Kohl's. And I guess I was doing my normal thing, laughing and giggling, doing whatever. And he's like, "Hey, I like the way you work." And he gave me his card, and I was like, it said Kohl's. I was like, "Oh my gosh, the one in my mom works there," And so I went and applied, and 4 years later, I turned out to be a supervisor. And
yeah, I heard you tell Deb one day, you were like, I don't know what y'all were talking about, but I walked by and I heard you say, "Oh yeah, I used to be the home manager."
Yeah.
What happened? I mean,
it was.
Why'd you take a step down? Because I know you're not a store manager here.
No, I took a step down because, one, the job isn't worth it. I mean, the pay isn't worth it. The drama, the amount of work for the pay, it's horrible.
No,
And
it's not.
they have a lot of stress on you. They want you to do a lot. You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Like I said, neither one of us are managers. We're just
No.
regular hourly associates, and I'm not gonna say how much I get paid. It's not an astronomical amount. People think it is up there because of the stuff I do.
minimum wage. No,
It's not minimum
no, I'm
wage. It's
joking.
it's a little bit above. But,
Probably me.
But I had somebody ask me, "Oh man, what do you do here? What's your official title?" And I was like, honestly, I got hired to work trucks in the mornings, until I found a steadier job. Well, I found a job at the airport. I hated it.
Yeah.
And, working with a bunch of Indians and Arabics, and I couldn't, I'm not racist, but I couldn't do it. I could not work with them. So, I was like, hey, I need, Jana, I need some extra hours. I'm just going to stay here for a while. Okay, that's cool. Well, I went from working trucks to working departments to working customer service
Working everything.
And yeah, but before I know it, I'm working multiple departments, and it's like every Saturday, dude. Every Saturday, somebody we mentioned earlier, we're not going to mention his name. He's late all the time. He's late, or he doesn't show up. And during the summer, last summer, I would cover customer service, POS, shoes, and home for a good 3 to 4 hours. And then that guy would show up, or he'd call, "Oh, I'm not going to be there," or he'd show up late like nothing ever happened, and then ask to take a damn break 2 hours later. He made me so mad. It makes me mad, Jacob. I mean, I'm telling you, this dude, if he could win Cocksucker of the Week. If there was an award for it, he would win it. I promise you, every week. His name would be on the ballot. I'm not going to say his name, but it would be on the ballot. I promise you, because I'd vote for him every week. We also had a girl, Melissa. Melissa was cool. She was young, but Melissa, she'd go out and party, and then on them Sunday mornings when she was like an intern at our store.
Okay.
And she come into work one day, and she had on like short shorts, and she had on a tank top with you could tell she had a bikini on underneath it, and her hair was like messy bun, and she come walking in, no makeup. I mean, she just smelled of tequila. She walked in with like her work clothes, and I was like, "You have a rough night?" She's like, "I just got off the fucking boat." And apparently they had been out partying all weekend on a boat, and she didn't have time to go home, shower, nothing. She had to come straight from the boat to work.
Oh,
and
gosh.
she just all day long, she just walked around like
A zombie.
a zombie, dude.
Here's a Red Bull.
It'd probably kickstart that vodka. In her system.
Oh my gosh, I can't do that. I've never been able to do that.
We'll go out drinking and come.
Well, yeah, I've done it once and I hated it and I felt sick. But the only thing that solved it was this greasy pizza, which was amazing.
Dude,
Oh,
when you're
my gosh.
hungover, greasy food is the best.
It was amazing.
Uh,
Before I ate it, I was sick because you look at it, you're like, oh, but
yeah.
oh my
You
gosh.
get all queasy.
The
Yeah.
best pizza I've ever had.
We when I was in the Army, we would we'd go out drinking every weekend. My last 8 months in the Army, we had a ritual. Me and a couple of my friends. Sundays we would go to this place called Sharky's because they had a 50-cent beer night.
Oh,
So we'd go to the strip club, drink beer, 50 cents. I mean, you get fucked up. And then on Mondays we would go to Secrets, or no. Yeah, we'd go to Secrets because they had a 25-cent beer night. They serve, Dixie cups or whatever with beer, but it's the cheap beer, Peps and,
Oh, okay, all right.
stuff like that, Keystone, But it was, 25 cents. Hey, getting drunk again. Then Tuesday we'd go to the Cadillac Ranch / Studio 54, and they had dollar night. So we'd, get drunk then. And then Wednesday we'd go to, where'd we go to? Went to another strip club. I can't remember the name. I think it was called, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called, there was some girl name. I can't remember though.
Trixie.
Something like Trixie's or
Foxy.
I'm just gonna say Victoria's, or it was something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a girl name. But we'd go there because they had if you're military, you got in free, and if you got in before 10 o'clock, your drinks were $1. So we'd go at 8 o'clock, start drinking, leave at 10 when prices went back to regular. Thursday we'd go to the Doghouse. The Doghouse was it was on the SF side of Fort Bragg, where all the grunts and all the SF, macho, cock diesel dudes would go drink their beer. But they had dollar night, so we'd go there and drink.
This sounds like just a place you go to
Dude,
get into a fight. You know, like
it is. It really is too. Like
you're drunk, you're drinking dollar beer, and you're starting to brawl. You know,
and you know you got them dudes and them real swole dudes.
What did you say?
You know,
huh? What?
Yeah, they them guys just got back from deployment, so for a year that's all they've been doing is lifting weights.
Oh my gosh.
So in 2010. You were getting deployed, but you weren't really, unless you were SF or, infantry or something, you weren't really doing anything.
Uh-huh.
You'd go recover a vehicle or something, or, you'd go do a mission where you drive somewhere and drop off, water MREs or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, you'd play your Xbox, you jack off, and you lift weights. That's it. You clean your gun every now and then. If the armor didn't get bored and do it. But, so these guys come back all ripped up, got some money, wearing the, the jeans with the designs on them and the tight, tap out shirts and stuff. And, they'd be out there drinking and, it was a mixture. Yeah, I mean, plenty of fights. I've only been in one bar fight while I was there.
Did you win?
Not really.
How drunk were you?
I was pretty drunk. Well, see, this is what happened.
Do you remember?
My friend Kevin, we would go to this place called Drifters on Friday or Saturday. On Friday or Saturday, it was, there were no specials going on anywhere. So that was the night where you went out and partied, and you had to spend a little money.
Okay. And
so we would either go to this hole-in-the-wall biker bar called Drifters, or we'd go to the club where you had to get dressed up, all Jersey Shore Guido looking. And I'm serious, that was the dress code. And we would go there. We'd have our button-up shirts, halfway unbuttoned, so you're showing off your chest muscles, and
So it really was Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, it was called It's, and it was owned by a dude. He actually parked his Aston Martin one night in the parking lot, and I'm looking at this thing, and it's all black, and I'm like, this is a nice ass car. It's my dream car, an Aston Martin. And I start taking pictures of it. My friend Jason starts taking some pictures of me with this car, and he's like, hey, the owner come out, and he's like, I normally charge people for that. And we start talking, laughing. He lets me drive it around the parking lot.
Oh.
I was like, wow. I mean, just starting it up sounds like you're starting up a truck. Like Victoria's truck with that muffler I put on it.
Yeah.
It sounds like that. That's what the car sounded like.
Oh, my gosh.
And then it purred. Oh, it was so pretty. But yeah, he let me drive around the parking lot. And I guess he owns another club by the same name in Florida. And he also is a co-owner of a porn studio. So
my gosh!
I mean, this dude, he was pulling out pamphlets of helicopters, like, this is my real toy, this is my real passion. Pulling out helicopters and small, like jet passenger planes. He's like, I'm gonna buy one of these within the next year, next 5 years. But the Drifters place, me and Kevin went, and we're drinking, we're having fun, we're dancing with girls, and Kevin meets this one girl, and they've been on each other all night. But I guess she came with a group of guy friends, and our cab guy, my buddy would drive a cab. He called me, hey, I'm out front. It's 2 a.m. Bar's about to close. Hey, I'm out in the parking lot. Okay, we'll be right there at Mead, or whatever your name is. Oh. And I went in to go get Kevin, and Kevin's like, hey, she's getting her stuff, her person. She's gonna come with us. I said, that's cool. Well, then I had been talking to a girl, so I, hey. While she's getting her purse, I'm gonna go try and seal the deal with this little chick over here. And so I'm trying to seal the deal with her. Well, all of a sudden I notice Kevin's arguing with this group of guys. The guys don't want the girl to go. They're mad. She wants to leave with Kevin. They're mad. And I tell the girl I'm talking to, hey, sorry, here's my number. Call me in the morning. I gotta go get my buddy. He's about to get his ass beat. Well, I go grab Kevin, and all the bouncer sees is me grab Kevin. So the bouncer grabs me.
Oh.
And I didn't know who grabbed me, so I turn around and I clocked the bouncer right in the nose. And the bouncer was this big old Samoan dude named Hugo. I don't know if that's his real name, but that's what we called him, Hugo. And I busted him square in his nose. It it started bleeding. Another bouncer came and pepper sprayed me and pepper sprayed Kevin.
Oh.
And the alcohol and the adrenaline kick, and everything rushed in, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the parking lot. I'm not handcuffed, but I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I'm asking for a cigarette. I don't smoke. So I'm like, I need a fucking cigarette. I need a cigarette. And Kevin, I remember Kevin's like, shut the... He's from Rhode Island, so he had that accent. Shut the fuck up. They're going to let us go. They're going to let us go. Just shut the fuck up. I was like, I need a fucking cigarette. And I went to stand up, and I hear this female voice go, I told you to sit your ass down. Pow! I got tased.
Oh,
dude, fucking right there. and well, I remember my hand shaking like this, and I hit the ground. And it's a wonder I was so drunk I didn't piss on myself, but I didn't. And then the next thing I know, I wake up in the cop car. I'm handcuffed though, and it's dark. And I just start kicking the door. I'm freaking out, because you wake up in a small cramped space, handcuffs on, you freak out.
Yeah.
And I start kicking the door, and I kick the window, and the door opens right as I go to mid kick. So like how you get that dead leg. Oh.
Yeah.
And the officer was a male officer this time. He said, "You just don't learn." Pow! And next thing I know, I wake up in a holding cell, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I sit there for probably 30 minutes, and I'm just like, "What the?" I go to the little sink/toilet, and I splash my face with some water, and I'm like, okay, I'm in jail. Fuck. My shirt's got 4 little holes here from the prongs, and I'm like, what? I'm missing buttons. My hair's all jacked up. What the fuck, man? And then I knock on the window, and the girl's like, "Are you gonna shut up yet?" Apparently, I've been raising hell inside the cell. I don't remember it, but. "You gonna shut up now?" And I was like, "I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you want." She said, "You sit there for another hour. Quiet." Okay. So I did. I sat there for an hour. And I sat where I could see outside of the cell, through the little plexi, through the glass door, whatever, glass window in the door, where I could see the clock. In exactly an hour, I knocked on the window. "Okay, it's been an hour, So they let me out. They booked me. I was so drunk they couldn't even book me. Like I was ready.
Oh my gosh.
So they booked me. They spent 4 hours booking me. And then they put me back in the holding cell, gave me a jumpsuit to put on. As soon as I put the jumpsuit on, they were like, "Magistrate wants to talk to you." And I was like, "What? I couldn't just leave my regular clothes on for that?" So I talk to the magistrate, pay a $350 fine for resisting arrest, public nuisance, and public intoxication. I paid my $350 fine, and they let me put my clothes back on and call my cab buddy and go home. That's the only bar fight I've ever been in. I've been in other fights, but the bar fight, that's by far the funniest one. And then we went back to that bar the very next that night. We went back to the bar the next night, and Hugo had a big
my gosh.
thing on. He was like, the when you get hit square in the nose, your eyes on the insides kind of get black and bruised up. And he came to work and he had the bandages across his nose. He had his eyes were a little swollen, and he was like. As soon as we walked through the door, there was a little old woman named, and everybody called her Mama. I don't know if she's still alive or not, but she was old. She was on death's doorstep whenever I was there. And she said, "Ain't gonna be no trouble out of you tonight, is there?" And I was like, "It was just a misunderstanding. I'm sorry, blah, blah." She was like, "Well, now, since you damaged the hood of my car," and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Boy, you done damaged my car." And I was like, "What do you mean I damaged your car?" She said, "Come here." Pulled me into the office. And I watched the video from the time I hit Hugo in the nose. Hugo hit the ground. And this is a 6 foot. He's got to be 6'5". He's a big dude, big Samoan dude.
Yeah.
And as soon as I hit him, he hit the ground, crumbled, holding his nose. And then the other bouncer in the video you can see coming like from the left side, spraying us. And she was like, "Keep watching." She fast forwarded it. The bouncer who pepper sprayed me carried me out of the bar and slammed me onto a car hood. And that's why this shoulder, I had to tell him that it was during a field exercise to get my shoulder fixed. I was like, some dude just picked me up while we were doing an entry point, checkpoint drill, and he just slammed me. And that's how, that's what I told the
well, they get it, they get it covered. Yeah.
but really, that dude, I can't remember the other guy's name, but Hugo, he, Mama made me buy a membership to this bar. Basically, she hustled me. I got every time when I went in that bar, I had to buy the little $25 membership thing, so that way cover any broken bottles or something. Yeah. I don't know. But Hugo came up to us and he said, "Ain't gonna be no problems tonight, boys." And I was like, "No, man." And I told him, I was like, "Look, I wasn't even gonna hit him. That's my friend. I was getting him out of the way." And Hugo was like, "Nobody's ever hit me that hard." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And he was like, "Don't worry, I got you from now on." And anytime we went in that bar, Hugo would let us have our own pool table. He'd stand by the pool table. He would get the girls who walk around with Jello shots and
you
shots.
You are disrespect.
And he would. I'm telling you straight up.
You're like.
I'll get Kevin on the phone and he can tell it. But Hugo would come stand by our pool table, and people come try to put their money down, and he'd be like, "No, this is their table."
That's awesome.
And he took the he took the little thing. So we didn't pay to play pool. We played pool for free because he took the little lock off of the ball, so we could just grab them out of the thing and put them back on the table. The girl who, like I said, the little shooter girl who walked around with the Jello shots and the shooters, he'd have her just come to our table, to our like where we were at, and here's some Jello shots on the house. Or like if we were, we'd pick up girls there all the time. I mean, there wasn't a weekend we didn't go there and pick up a girl.
Oh my gosh.
And, we'd have a girl or two at our table, and hey, his favorite tequila is 1800. Give it to him. Okay, 1800 silver. I'm getting at least 2 or 3 free shots of it. I mean, Hugo, he didn't let nobody mess with us. Some black dude come in. He was a local guy. He wasn't in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And he, hey, y'all been on this fucking table for like 4 hours. It's about 1 a.m. and Hugo just snatches him up. No words were said after that. Hugo just snatched him up. And we were like, damn.
Wow.
And
no, that's awesome.
But
that's amazing.
That never would have happened. I wouldn't have been able just to walk back into any place else that had happened at. They'd be like, no, you got to go.
No, yeah.
But Hugo, he was like, give him free drinks. Fuck. But
no, what I think happened is you were just, like with a bulldog or like a pit bull or something, you have to, kind of, I'm not like trying to compare him to a dog or he's an animal.
Compare that motherfucker to a Rottweiler.
It reminds me of a Rottweiler where you have to teach him a lesson, then they respect you kind of thing. Not that you were meaning to, but it kind of ended up that way.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, man, I swear I did not mean, somebody grabbed me and he was like, dude, don't worry about it. He's like, I've got you. Like, that's all he would say, I've got you.
That's cool.
And I'm thinking, God, he's going to get me, I'm going to get drunk and he's going to fuck me up. Something's
going to follow you to like...
he's going to follow me in the bathroom and shank me or something. But he was real cool. I mean, we exchanged phone numbers for a little while. We'd text or whatever. He texted me one day, hey, I'm not going to be at this bar, I'll be at this bar. Because he was like a career bouncer. He'd bounce at other bars around that area. Okay. And he just texted me one day, hey, I'm at the... Lucky 7. This was an Asian bar we weren't allowed to go to because the Asian girls there are prostitutes basically, and that was on the blacklist of places you couldn't go. But he would call me, hey man, I'm bouncing at this place. There's nobody here. Come have free drinks, and we'd pile up. Me, Kevin, Jesse, whoever. We'd go there. My roommate Brett, we'd all go, and we're not supposed to be there. If undercovers were there and they caught us, we'd got in trouble.
Yeah. Because
like I said, the bartenders and stuff, the girls there, Asian girls, they were prostitutes. And but he the Asian girl, oh, I take you to a bathroom, I give you jack off, or I sucky, and you're like,
oh my
no
gosh.
Thanks, and Hugo would be like, no, they're fine, leave them alone, pour them drinks. And the girls would like listen to Hugo, and
well, you're Samoan guy, you're not gonna.
but it was we could sit in there at the bar, and you'd have a little Asian music playing. You got all dragons and swords and shit on the wall. You got some Asian chick walking around in skimpy clothes. And then, you'd see other soldiers walk in, but they were looking for the nookie. They were trying to get some sucky. Mm. And you'd see them come in all, We had one dude walk in and he straight up walked up to us and like, are y'all UCs? Undercovers? And I was like, no, we're here with Hugo. And Hugo, like, he wore the Lucky 7 shirt or whatever, security. And they scared off that dude. But I'd see dudes come in there, hats pulled real low. You could tell they were soldiers. I can spot somebody who's in the military.
When they're trying to, if they're not supposed to be there, they're hiding.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. You're not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm not here looking for some sucky.
Yeah. So wait, the military actually has like blacklists for them just because like prostitution and
drugs.
Okay.
The military, they're not like sports teams. They're not going to go to a lucrative town and build a stadium or a base. They're going to go to a rundown town. Like Fort Bragg is a nice base, but the town it's on, Fayetteville, is shitty. Okay. It's a dangerous place. I mean, people are getting shot up there left and right. Drugs. Man. I mean, it's right in the middle of Miami and New York. Along I-95. It's it's a drug route, like I-45 is for Texas. It runs from Mexico all the way to I think Idaho or some shit.
Okay.
Or Illinois or something. It's a drug avenue. But they like Fort Carson is probably the nicest base just because it's in the mountains in Colorado. But Fort Lewis is right there on Olympia, Tacoma, and that's just a big shithole. I mean, it's such a shithole you can smell it in the air. It's my dad is from Tacoma. Excuse me, my dad is from Tacoma, Washington, and whenever we moved to Washington, me and Victoria, he was like, "Why? The place is a shithole." I was like, "You don't want to go back?" And he's like, "I'd only go back for like funerals because he still has family that lives in Ocean Shores."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'd only go back for funerals or something, or somebody seriously needed me." He's like, "Other than that, I don't have no desire." And my stepmom wants to go, but my dad's like, "Shithole, we're not going. We're not wasting our money."
Really? It's that bad?
It's bad, dude. When we first moved there, I worked at this mushroom farm, and it stunk. Oh, it stunk. A lot of the Pacific Islanders, the Samoans, and the Asians, they worked there. It wasn't a great job, but it was an easy job to get for somebody just moving there. Like if you needed to make $10 an hour, you go straight there. Within a day and a half, you're hired.
Okay.
I mean, anybody could get the job. But they put me in the packing department. And during the day, I would work in the packing department from like 2 to 6. But then from 6 to midnight, I was basically the janitor. Me and 2 other guys. We'd go and clean up all the mushrooms that were smushed into the floor. And it was hell. But
well, it was a job.
Yeah, it was a job. And the guy really didn't, because it's considered an agricultural job, you don't get overtime unless you were on their construction, their engineer corp that they called it. It's not an engineer corp, but it was. They have people who package the mushrooms. They have people who pick the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then they have people who build the pallets for the mushroom fertilizer mix to go in. And they were the carpenters. If you were a carpenter, you got overtime because you're not agriculture. But if you were in the packing, or you were the picker, or you're considered agricultural, so you didn't get overtime.
I don't understand why. Like
that's part of the rules for that state. If
you're
agriculture
itself,
if you're agriculture, you don't get overtime. You get all the hours you want, but you don't get overtime. So you'd be working 13, 14 hours. No overtime, but you get paid extra.
Yeah.
But I had to ride the bus to work. So Victoria would drive to where she worked, and the bus station was right across the street. I mean, literally, there was like a little park here. Bus station.
That's nice. That's perfect.
So I'd go wait at the bus station, and I'm sitting there, and I thought meth was more of a Southern thing. If you watch a TV show, where are they at when they're filming stuff about meth? They're in Southern Georgia, Northern Florida.
Oh yeah, there's nothing
they're
around.
Alabama, Arkansas. They're in these small towns in the South. So you would think, where I come from, meth has gotten way out of. It's out of control. I'm all for smoking pot, but meth, cocaine, all them hard drugs that you got to actually manufacture and make.
Yeah.
That shit needs to go away. But my little town where I'm from is ravished. It was never a glamorous place, never. But it's just total. I don't even like going there. If it weren't for my parents and my daughters, I'd never go to that town again. It's such a shithole. But like I said, I thought meth was more of a Southern thing. I'm waiting at the bus station up there, and I see these 2 guys come sit on the bench right across from me. And one dude pulls out a handkerchief and gives it to the other guy, and the other guy unwraps it, and it's a meth pipe. It's a little bowl pipe. And that dude, he reaches in his pocket, and he pulls out a little baggie, got some meth in it. He goes to the bathroom. As soon as he's in the bathroom, the other dude gets up from the bench and follows him in there. And the security guy who walks around the bus station is just oblivious to it. But that's how bad it is up there. They do it in the fucking bus stop.
There's just so much that, like, we can't stop this anymore.
The homeless population up there is outstanding. They used to let the bums sleep on the sidewalks and in the parking lots and stuff. Now they won't let them do it. So, I worked for a contractor there for a little bit, DJ, and his wife worked at a hospital, and we would take this road. Here's the hospital. Here's the road to their house, and then here's like a wooded area.
Okay.
As you're driving between the hospital and you're on the road, you can see tents popped up in the woods. You can see them there. You can see them over by the Carmike movie theater where the Rock Pizza place was.
Oh my gosh.
There's a wood line behind there. Bums were living there. You go to Olympia and bums sleep on the boardwalk that's out there, and it's bad. It's horrible. But I was like, I can't believe I just watched these 2 dudes do this in broad daylight. That's ridiculous. And everywhere you go, like I said, I'm for smoking some pot, but do it, in your house. Do it, you know.
Well, yeah. If some people have a problem, it's like smoking. You know, like if you smoke cigarettes, you know, don't just like do it, and if someone doesn't like it, like in their face, you know, kind of thing. You know.
You know, if you're at a concert or something and you light up a cigarette, well, you got to be, you know, there's people around you and they might not
go
smoke.
somewhere else. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
go to a smoking area. Or,
Yeah.
But yeah, these people. I mean, you walk around. We went to the 4th of July fireworks show there, and people are. I mean, the whole air smells. It doesn't smell like powder. It doesn't smell like, you know, fireworks. It smells like weed. And you're walking around a big park, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I can't even smell the funnel cakes. You know, all I smell is weed. And, you know, later at night, we're watching fireworks go off, and it's me and Victoria, Victoria's sister and her boyfriend, and 2 of their friends, and they got their 2 kids. And we're watching the fireworks, and some jackass jumps over everybody and hits the little girl with his shoe. And didn't even apologize. So I yelled at the guy, and this dude was so out of it. He comes up to me, and he, like, opens his arms up like he wants to hug me. And he's like, what, you got something to say to me? And the dude is holding a fucking pipe right in his hand. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, I'm an MMA fighter. I'll jack you up. And my friend, and Brandon, Victoria's sister's, well, I think they're getting married this year, so they're fiancé. But where he was like, he kept whispering, like, hit him. John, just hit him. He's not going to, I was like, and Victoria she literally got between us. I went to hit the dude, and Victoria grabbed me. And she got between us, and the guy was, you know, started walking off talking trash. Not even 2 minutes later, here comes some police to go get him.
Oh my gosh!
But the people up there, man, they're something else. There's some nice people I met there. I met several nice people, but yeah, I don't think I can move back that area.
Really, like it's
because the majority of the people, like I said, I met some good people, but the majority of the people were just jerk offs. I mean, they're assholes. You know, I'm coming from here, you know, small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's nice. You know, not everybody's nice, but for the most part, you know,
there's always someone.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, everybody's nice, and they genuinely want to know how you're doing, and if they can help you, they're willing. You know, they'll help you. Up there, it's like every man for himself, and it's ridiculous.
Well, now I know I don't want to go there. Like,
well, I mean, the view. I mean, you know, we've got like, you know, the picture of us climbing the mountains and the waterfalls and stuff, and you know, there's some pretty places to go see. I would go visit, you know, to go see those places again. Like, we lived in a townhouse, and Mount Rainier was in our backyard. I mean, you wake up in the morning,
that's beautiful.
You open your blinds, there's Mount Rainier, and you're like, God, this is beautiful. You know, I would go back to see that again, or to see. We went on this old bridge, and there was a river. You know, but the river was so clear. You're standing like 200 feet above this river on this bridge, but you can see the fish in the river, you know, swimming.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like, God, this is so beautiful. And it did rain a lot. Their grass is weird. That's the first
what
thing
do
I
you mean?
noticed.
Is it
during the summertime? It turns brown, right?
okay?
And because during the summertime it gets up there in the 90s, you know, 96, 98. I think that's the hottest it got. But they've got that wind blowing off the mountain, so it cools it off, and it just feels. If you're in the shade, it feels amazing. But during the wintertime, it rains, the grass grows. It's so weird. The grass goes from brown to like this rubbery, thick green. And it's so soft.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so soft. And it freaked me out. I was like, during the summertime, I was like, why ain't the grass? Why is it brown?
Yeah.
And it would still grow, but it would be brown. So you'd have to mow brown grass. You're like, what the fuck? And then during the wintertime, it would get tall and bushy and thick.
So it's not dead. It's still grows.
Yeah, it still grows, and it was so weird. And Victoria's like, that's just how the grass is here. And I'm like, what the? This is weird. You know, I mean, look out the door. You got green trees, you got green grass.
Yeah.
It's springtime. You know, during the wintertime, our grass kind of dies out.
It turns. Yeah, everything dies.
Yeah. But up there, it's different. You know, you got the first time it rained for like a week straight. It wasn't a heavy downpour. You know, it was sprinkle. You know, misty, sprinkly type rain. Sometimes it'd get heavy, but I walked outside, and there was a dude smoking a cigarette, wearing, you know, waterproof boots, you know, the knee-high rubber boots, and he was mowing his yard while it was raining, smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, you just get used to it, partner. I guess he was from I think he was from Oklahoma. originally, and he was like, "You just get used to it, partner." How do you get used to that, man?
It's raining. Who cares?
Yeah, that was their thing. Like, whatever. I'm going outside to smoke. Oh, damn! I gotta keep lighting my cigarette.
That's funny because like when you come from somewhere, like from Texas, even out in east like Maryland, stuff like that. When it rains, it's like people are inside. People
everything shuts down.
Yeah, everything shuts down. Everything's like, oh, stay inside. Don't go outside. But like somewhere over there where it's like like England or something where it rains all the time, you're just like, oh whatever. This is just sunshine. Going out and get a tan.
See, we have you checked out? There's an English woman that comes in our store.
I've heard. I think I met her.
She comes in, and one day it was kind of muggy here, and she was like, "Oh, it's a perfect England day," and I was like, "What?" And she was like, she told me like this is the norm in England, like what's outside is how it is pretty much there. Not now, but like during this day, it's pretty much how it is over there. And I'd never been to England, but if it's like that, then I don't want to go.
I don't know. Sometimes
I'd want to go.
I like it. I like in periods, like sun in a period, like say, for a week, and then you have rain, and you're like, oh, it's so nice, you have thunderstorms,
you get
it's
the fresh,
nice,
you get the fresh air.
Yeah, it's relaxing. There's some wind, and then you go back to sun. You're like, all right, I'm back in the sun. I like that.
See, I wish it would just stay sunny. I'm a sunny person. I'm a beach person. I feel like just sun. Just sun. I don't I don't mind the rain. I know, people need the rain, for crops and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it does make the air smell better, especially around here. We got all the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
But I think last summer we got too much rain, way too much. Like I said, everything was.
Well, you
flooded.
said it flooded, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was trying to find the pictures on my phone and I couldn't find them. They're probably on Victoria. I think they might be on Victoria's phone. Like I said, I didn't. I knew we had coyotes at our deer lease, and I know there's deer. I know that there was foxes. I've seen those, but I'd never seen bobcats out there. So we get to walking in this mud to go into my deer stand, and I'm looking at all these tracks. I'm thinking, God damn, this is a lot of, there's a lot of stuff out here, and you can see where the birds had walked, and you can see where coyotes had been walking. We took a picture of a big, like massive coyote trail on a creek bottom where they'd come up the hill where the railroad track is, and then they'd come down into that creek bottom and come back up.
Okay.
A little ways down from my deer lease or my deer stand. And while we were walking there, we seen bobcat tracks just everywhere. And I found a tore up. It was a bird, like a pigeon or something, tore up a sparrow or something. But it was tore up, and you could see all the bobcat tracks around it. And I'm thinking, man, I would love to shoot a bobcat. I never shot one. I've only seen them stuffed. I've seen maybe one bobcat in the wild, and I saw it for a split second. It as soon as it seen me, it took off. But it was big. It was probably his size.
Really?
Yeah, them things are.
Those things are mean too. Like.
Well, like I said, I got from about here to that bookshelf, and I noticed like a pile of leaves moved, and then I seen what it was, and it seen me. It was gone. I'd never seen another bobcat out in the wild. But I was thinking, man, it'd be nice to shoot one. And Victoria's like, you can have your deer skull like that one. I got that 4 years ago. I shot that deer.
Oh, nice.
But and I've got another one at my mom's. I've got to get. It's the same. It's a little bit bigger than that one. I just got to bull the skull and bleach it and all that. But Victoria was like, we ain't gonna have no deer heads stuff. You can have the
the skull.
That's called a European mount. You can have European mounts. That's fine. But no
stuffing is weird.
Yeah, no actual the head with the horn, the antlers.
The eyes that look classy at you. You're like, okay.
Little marbles,
No, yeah.
But she said, I said, well, what if I shoot a bobcat? Can we stuff it? She was like, oh yeah, if you shoot a bobcat, you can stuff it.
I have one that walks into my backyard.
A bobcat?
yeah. Like it literally just walks around like at certain time in the morning.
Is it a tomcat or is it like an actual bobcat?
No, it's a bobcat.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because I remember my dad pointed out because we have like foxes and stuff like that running, through there or whatever.
Yeah, I shot at I don't know if it was. I think it was a coyote I shot at, but Victoria seen it in the woodline. I didn't see it because I'm sitting here. She can see out that way, and she's like, "It's gonna come up on the road. Shoot it." Well, I don't. Okay, I'll shoot a coyote, no problem. And so I'm waiting for this thing to come out, and I tell her, I'm like, hey, whistle when he comes across the road so he'll stop and I can get it, because I don't know if I hit him while he's moving.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, whistle, fucking whistle. And she's like, what? I can't hear you. I'm like, fucking whistle. But by the time finally he gets like right in the middle of the road, she doesn't whistle. So I hey. And it kind of looks up for a second. I pull the trigger and it takes off. Man, I was so mad. Hoping to get a coyote this year. Because we weren't seeing any deer. I mean, it flooded. It killed the baby fawns that were down there. I mean, it
really?
flooded.
Okay.
I mean, there probably won't be deer down there for at least another year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, hogs are all down there where we walked. We walked the rest of the deer lease. We didn't just take the way we came back. We walked the rest of the circle. And as we were walking, a bunch of like where hogs bed down, ruts. There was a bunch of those.
Uh-huh.
So I know that there's hogs down there. We've trapped hogs down there. But
so for example, when it floods like that, when it gets really bad and like destroys the crop, do the deer like go somewhere else?
Yeah, they get. I mean,
or do
they go.
Does it kill off wildlife like any or?
Well, I'm sure some coyote cubs or pups, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure some bobcat cubs got killed.
Yeah.
But I don't care about them. I care about the deer that are out there. Because I mean, I don't like going to the supermarket and having to buy meat all the time. Because my wife, she'll eat vegetables. I like meat. So if we can't afford to go buy steaks or something, I count on the little bit of deer meat I've got.
Yeah.
And I got back straps or sausage or hamburger meat out of it or something. Sausage links.
Well, how are the sausage? I've never had like.
It's really good. It's really if you go buy a steak at a grocery, if we go to Tom Thumb and we buy a steak, it looks good. It's nice and thick and it looks good. But when you put it next to like a deer steak and you see like the deer steak is red, it's as red as that little cardboard box it's painted. I mean, it's dark and it's gamey and it's a lot healthier for you too. Salmon. We don't buy any fish that's farm raised, just because they feed them dog food.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's all they're doing. They're throwing dog food in crap. We buy the salmon that's caught, up in Alaska and stuff. The wild caught, because you can look at the meat. I mean, it's, the meat's dark red when it's wild because they're eating wild stuff. They're natural. You got them farm raised eating dog food. The meat's the color of my skin. It's all pink. It's not dark red like you want it. But that's the biggest difference between, one's a cow, one's a deer. But you look at a steak, a T-bone or a sirloin, and it's red, it's bright red. But you could look at that deer meat, and like I said, it's a burgundy, and it's delicious. You can fry it. We take this how I cook my back straps, kind of like a chicken fried steak. Flour it, batter.
Oh my gosh, I could eat a chicken fried steak right now.
It's delicious. Victoria, first time Victoria had deer. I didn't tell her. I was just like, oh, it's Salisbury steak, dipped in fried, chicken fried strips, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Told her what it was. She was like, what packaging is that? What meat market? And I'm like, I don't go to meat markets. I go out in the woods. And she's like, what is that? I tell you, that's a deer. That's that deer that I shot. Oh, well, that was good. And now when we go to my mom, she has like her deep freezer full of deer meat. She'll give us, here's some back straps, here's some sausage, here's this, and my dad has some of my deer, so when we go down there, I'm going to take a couple sausage links or something, because he likes sausage. And I tried to get a hog for him 2 years ago, but no luck.
Now that's a hunting to do, hog hunting?
Yeah,
Like,
we don't take our dogs. Some people, they train their dogs to do that. I don't have time to train 6-7 dogs to go bay a pig, or...
Or was it boar?
Hog,
or
same
boar,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, same thing. Just, females don't have the tusk, males do. But you don't want to eat... If you trap a male, if you trap a boar, best thing to do, just sell them. Find somebody that buys them, sell them. Because the meat is sour. Not like sour as in spoiled, but it just has a sour taste,
Is it a unique taste or is it a bad taste? Or?
No, it's not. It's just sour. It's like you took a... you take a... You take a pork chop, and you put like a lime juice on it, or lemon juice, but it doesn't have that lemony flavor. It's sour.
Okay, no, I know exactly what you're... Okay.
So you can eat it, but it's just not as tasty as the female, as the female pigs. So you want to, if you catch a female pig, that's the one you want to keep. Kill it,
But the male ones,
But the male ones, you might as well just sell them. That's what we do when we trap our hogs. We separate the males and the females, which is as a job, right? You want to get paid? hey, if I professionally, it was my job to come get hogs out of your trap and separate them, you'd have to pay me $100 an hour.
There's a TV show for that.
there actually is. It's called Pigman, and the dude lives in the next town over from where he lives in. His shop, and he's from Teague, Texas.
Okay.
And where we go hunting at is in Fairfield. And everybody knows him as his name's Brian, but everybody calls him Pigman. And Pigman, that's a shout out. You got one over on me. You got free publicity. You should feel honored. But he's a good guy. He does a lot of stuff in the community. But I mean, that's basically his thing. He taxidermies pigs. He hunts pigs. He has his own pig hunting TV show on the Outdoor Network. But he's real goofy, you know. Like he does a lot of jokes and stuff. I mean, he can hunt pigs and he knows his shit. But he's kind of he's crazier than a pet coon. Let's put it that way. Dude's a little out there. He's got like little bazingers, you know, little booyah, like you know, little words he says, and they're the dude's a little goofy. But yeah, he has, you know, his own pig hunting show. But if you had to pay me professionally to come out there and okay, you got 40 hogs in a pen and you need them separated, it's gonna be about $100 an hour. I'm gonna be here for about 8 hours.
Oh my gosh!
Because you know, these pigs are just running around. They're ramming the cages. You know, when Victoria gets here, she'll show you the video. This hog, we caught two male boars, and each in separate cages. And that one, he was just ramming the shit out of the trap he was in. I mean, he'd just take off running and jump midair, smack into the fence, and he'd, you know, pop his choppers at you when they pop their choppers. They're getting ready to attack. You know, it's kind of like a rattlesnake rattle.
Okay.
And you can hear it. And it's their choppers popping, and or their tusk. And but he'd back up across the cage and just start running, smack into the cage. But I mean, once we got him in the thing, it took us about 3 hours just to get him alone. Now I can't imagine if we had, you know, 2 or 3 other males, they'd probably killed each other and a couple of the other pigs.
Oh yeah.
And then you got all the, you know, mamas with all their 20 babies at a time. You know, to get in there and separate them, it'd be hell. Oh, it'd be hell. Especially if you got one little trap, you know, one little cage to carry them to wherever they're going.
Oh yeah. I know I don't know if it's Texas. I want to say Florida, but I don't know. But there's a place where there's so many boar out there that they actually pay you to hunt.
Oh, there's places like that here.
Is it in Texas? It might be in Texas.
Well, like it's certain.
I don't know if it's like Louisiana or it's like somewhere where it's like really like, you know.
I know
out there.
I know in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida, there's no hog season, so year round you can hunt them.
Okay.
I know that there's a wildlife park on the other side of Cayuga, which is about 2.5 hours from here.
Okay.
It's a small town, but they have a wildlife park there, and they'll actually, if you have to get a special permit through the park, but I don't know if they still do this, but whenever I was younger, you know, 15, 16, if you set traps up there and you paid for your permit, if you caught boars, they would actually pay you for the boars.
Oh.
And then if you caught females, you could keep the females,
and then,
or give them the females, and they would, you know, process pigs up and sell them to, or, you know, give them to homeless, you know. But they would pay you to come out there and do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think I was watching this thing called Hog Wild on like Animal Planet or something, Nat Geo, about 3 or 4 years ago. And a dude was doing that in Hawaii. He would go and trap the pigs that were in Hawaii because apparently they've gotten out of control there too. But he would, you know, he'd go in and trap them for people. You know, they'd come mess up their flower beds and stuff.
Yeah, and
grow worms. And he'd just trap them right there in the people's front yards. And like, what? This is crazy. In Hawaii they got pigs? That's crazy. I mean, that little, you know, it's Hawaii is a bunch of islands.
No, it is.
How's a pig gonna get there?
No, I know.
Like, you swim in the fucking ocean?
One's born and then it just starts, you know,
Yeah,
spreading.
well, no, I mean, I get it. You know, somebody brought the pigs over there. I get that. You know, but that's just crazy to think that Hawaii is becoming overrun like Texas is. And Texas is a big fucking state. I mean,
imagine Hawaii then.
I'm sure you could, dude. I'm sure you could go on every single island in Hawaii and spend about an hour there a day, and in one day you'll see the whole state. Yeah. I can almost guarantee you could do it. In Texas, it takes you 4 hours just to drive from Dallas to my parents' house. My parents live 4 hours away.
12 to drive from El Paso. Or
oh, dude. We left my grandma's house when we moved to Washington. We left my grandmother's house. And we drove all the way to Albuquerque, New Mexico from my grandmother's house in 16 hours. That's how long it took to get from Buffalo, Texas to Albuquerque, New Mexico. 16 hours. And all of that was driving through Texas. Like that. It's ridiculous.
But that's the thing when I drove across country and I loved every bit of it. It was always because you went to different states, you saw different things. But when I came back from California to Texas, to come back to here to Fort Worth, I was just like, most of my driving is in Texas. It's
ridiculous.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm in Texas and it feels like, I'm almost there, but nope, 13 more hours.
and then you get you go from we went from East Texas, woods and creeks along the roads and highways that are just basically back roads.
Yeah. And
then finally we get up to Corsicana, going through into Dallas and through we get into Ennis and all that. But then we get to the city, and then from there we drive towards West Texas. We don't go into Oklahoma at all. I don't know why we would, but we didn't. Anyway, we're driving through North Texas, and you can just tell the landscape change, because in North Texas, up in Amarillo area, and Wichita Falls, it's windy and it's flat.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, I went from pine trees and oak trees and pecan trees and creeks and mesquite trees to nothing. Windmills.
No, exactly.
And then you drive, into West Texas.
Oil fields. You see these
you see a bunch of rigs up, and you're like, wow. And then you drive to West Texas, and it's really desert with some, what are those called, palomino bushes or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, Jesus Christ, And the big thing is when we got into Arizona, I was hoping to see the cactus, the big cactuses, not the little bitty.
But
I was expecting to see these kind, and with the arms up. Didn't see not a damn one, and I was so disappointed. We've seen plenty of the walking cactuses or whatever they're called, with the looks like they kind of got a face.
Yeah,
we've seen plenty of those, but none of the big. And we stopped at a rattlesnake farm, and these people bred rattlesnakes. I don't know why you would breed them because they're just in your fucking backyard. But then they would kill the snakes, and put them up on display. They would basically taxidermy the snakes to be attacking a squirrel or fighting a hawk or make a belt buckle or the mouth of the snake, the fangs would be epoxied or whatever, however they do it.
Okay.
So it stays open so you can use as decoration or something. Kind of like the alligator mouse when you drive into Louisiana. They got the alligator heads open with the marble eyes and stuff. Kind of like that, but with rattlesnakes. Or they sell the rattlers on keychains or, And I'm walking, and I'm deathly scared of snakes. Fuck a snake. The best snake is a dead snake. I don't care if it's a grass snake. I am running like a little girl. But, and I'm getting the creeps walking through this store. And they've got a snake, and it looks real, but it's fake. And it just sits on the counter and kind of vibrates back and forth. And you're like...
Is that a pet?
I just stared at it, and the woman was like, it's not real. And I was like, it's moving. And she picked it up, and it was stiff, all the way across. So I was like, oh, okay. And I was holding it. But it kind of it vibrates when it kind of, moves. So the first time I held it and it vibrated, I dropped it. It scared the shit out of me. But, so...
No, yeah, but...
it was
Texas is too huge.
Oh, Texas is big.
I mean, it literally, there's been things people have said, Texas could, become its own, country, and, you know what?
Well, it was its own country at one point. I mean,
It was Mexico's, right? No,
well, yeah. But we all know what happened. No, Texas was its own country for, I think, 8-9 years. After it beat, Santa Ana, after Sam Houston beat Santa Ana, got him to surrender. Texas was, I don't have a state map, but...
a Lone Star State.
Well, I mean, it was Texas as, we know it today.
Yeah.
But then it also had parts of Colorado, all of New Mexico, and Arizona. Or, what's next to us right here?
Oh,
New Mexico. Right?
Oh, yeah. New Mexico.
Yeah, it's New Mexico.
New Mexico and then Arizona.
Yeah, but all of New Mexico, part of part of Arizona, part of Oklahoma, the Panhandle part,
Mm.
and parts of like Colorado and Montana, like a little bit of Montana, I want to say. All of that was Texas after Mexico surrendered. But then, when Texas said, "Oh, we want to be a state," we need to be a state, if because we're here, might as well join.
Yeah.
The federal government made Texas prove that it would benefit the union. And I'm thinking,
Really?
Google it. And I'm thinking, as a Texan, when we go to school, this is what we learn. This is in our textbooks, and there could be other stuff. History's written by winners. We all know that. If you win, you can say whatever you want. And who's gonna?
Or you're gonna rewrite it in a way that makes you look,
Yeah, it makes you look good, And but that's neither here nor there. But we get taught, okay, Texas, after we beat Mexico, we got our independence. We had all this extra land. We had, people flooding in from Tennessee and all from the Union, people flooding in, and the federal government said no. They denied like the first 2 bids to become a state. They denied it. Like, no, you need to prove yourself. And we had a history teacher, Mr. Henderson. He was an old man, he was great grandpa old, and he would always tell us, had Texas just waited 20 more years, had they toughed it out. Because they waited 9 years as their own country to become a state. Mm-hmm. Had they this is what he said. This is not what I'm saying. This is just what he told us.
Yeah.
He said that he thinks if Texas had stayed its own country for at least another 20 years, they would have begged us to join them.
Yeah.
Because within 20 years of joining the Union, we had oil wells pop up. I mean, if you know anything about power grids, right? You take a map of the United States, there's 3 power grids, right? Mm-hmm. There's the East Coast up to like Chicago, and then from Chicago over all the western states. And then Texas is its own grid. So basically we supply our power to ourselves.
Yeah.
And all that started, 20, 30 years after we had joined the Union. We got all, the oil fields, we got the power plants started coming up and railroads started coming through, and Texas boomed basically, and he always told us, Texas, in his opinion, if they had waited 20, 25 years, we never would have joined the Union. We'd have been like, we're good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, oh, Texas can secede. They're the only state that holds that right. That's not true. Once you're in the Union, you're in.
No, yeah. Unless you have a massive civil war and you start taking over California, and then now Texas is Texas has like New Mexico, has Arizona, California, and moves up to Washington.
Oh, no, I don't think. No, it's weird to be here and to go out, into the world. And I've traveled all over, and I've met people from all over, and it's so weird to hear them. Oh, you're from Texas? How that? It's like they want to go.
Cowboy.
Yeah, that's the Dallas Cowboys I met
John Wayne. You lived there.
Really, he lived in California.
No,
he lived in Hollywood. But people. I've met a dude. Where was he from? He was from Liberia, and he was in our army, and all he wanted to do was go to Texas and eat barbecue. And I was like, why? I grew up on it, so I take it for granted. I'm why? But now when we went to Washington, I'd go into a restaurant, oh, Victoria, oh, they have the best barbecue here. Well, yeah, it's good for here. It's not Texas. Or,
it's not Texas barbecue.
Or I'd ask the woman, hey, can I get a sweet tea? Oh, we don't have sweet tea. Would you like green tea? And I'm like, what? No, I want sweet tea. Not no fucking green tea. No, they don't drink sweet tea up there. It's weird. And everybody would look at me crazy when I can have sweet tea. Well, we don't have that. What the fuck? We got sweet and low. I don't want no fucking sweet and low. I want sweet tea.
Which that is worse for you. That stuff is just chemically made sugar.
It's what was the
Splenda?
Is it Splenda? That's made with like
It's a chemical. I forget what it is. It's like an extract of sugar.
It's a sweetener.
Yeah.
And it's used in they make it. They use it in Fireball whiskey.
Yeah.
Coolant. It's not coolant for your vehicle, but it's the same chemical compound. It's just altered. I guess I don't know how to explain. I'm not that smart.
Back in Maryland, my family actually knew a guy who was contracted to work on Splenda.
Yeah.
He was the guy who actually sat down and like worked on it. It was like him and a bunch of other were working on the compound to make Splenda, to make it, so you don't have the calories or the whole thing that Splenda adds. And he actually was the first one he brought up over a cake. He's like, "This is made with Splenda. Try it." And it's like, "Oh, it's okay." But then I was like, I started reading about Splenda. I was like, "Ew."
Yeah, it's got like...
I want real sugar. I want,
I listen to other people's podcasts, like I said.
Yeah.
And there was a podcast I was listening to, and he had a health guy on there. And the guy who hosts the podcast, well, fuck it, I'll say it. I was listening to the Stone Cold podcast. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Flipping people off drinking beer. I was listening to his podcast. And he had a health guy on there. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was like Steve or something, like Steven, or he's a health guy, health and fitness guy. And Steve asked him, how much Splenda is too much, because I use Splenda in my coffee. And the guy said, "Dude, you're better off just going ahead with regular sugar, just less amount." He said, because they have that same chemical compound or whatever it is that Fireball whiskey uses, which is the same sweetener used in coolant. And
Fireball whiskey is good though.
I personally don't like Fireball. I don't see the obsession.
Spicy.
it is good, but it's just I can't drink too much of it. It's not that it makes me mad or anything. It's just it's too sweet for me. I don't want to be like I'm a man's man, but I drink. I drink Jim Beam.
You drink too much of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
you do. When I was younger, before I started, before beer finally caught on, and for me, I had to learn to like beer. I didn't want to be a pussy drinking Smirnoffs all the time. So, I had to learn to drink beer. But when I was younger, I'd drink Smirnoffs because it tasted good. But after about 6 Smirnoffs, not only would I be shit-faced, but I'd throw up everywhere. Just projectile vomit everywhere. And that's not good if you're trying to get laid when you're 16.
Maybe you shouldn't drink 16.
But anyway, that sweet drinks, I can't do too many of them.
No.
So I learned to drink beer, and my mom dated this guy, and that's all he drank was beer. He's kind of like the Shannon guy I told you about. But he was more under control. He would drink Bud Light. He'd buy 30 packs of it at a time.
Well, that's just water.
And he would let me drink it. Here. And I was 13, and my mom gave me. Technically, it was my second beer or third beer, but my parent giving me a beer was my first one. Okay. And I drank it, and okay, and then I drank another one. I got drunk when I was 13 with my mom for the first time, so that was.
Oh my god!
But it was the first time I actually got to drink with a parent. But after that, I'd go. When I was 16, I had my driver's license. Well, I was banging this chick who worked at a gas station. So I'd go in the gas station, and she'd sell me beer as long as I gave her a 20 or, a little bag of weed or something. She would let me go in there and get like a 30-pack of whatever beer I wanted. I started getting Coors Light, and I love Coors Light. That's it's up there in my top 5. You don't like
No, I'm joking. Finger thumb down. Water. Give me some tap.
No, Bud Light is water. That stuff is water. It's a good beer, but it's water. It's good. It's good to be social with, but it's water.
Yeah. No.
If I want to drink, I'm going to drink Coors Light. It's basically the same thing. I just feel like Coors Light tastes a little heavier.
No, seriously, Coors Light, I would drink it over Bud Light.
Any day. That's mine and Victoria's beer. Some slushy. Like we talked about earlier, some slushy
that's
Coors
the
Lights.
Beer you drink during the summer. You're chopping wood, and you're just like, this is the best thing in the world right now.
And it doesn't get you too drunk. You get after about
it's 8 a hydration.
Of them, after about 8 of them, you get a nice little buzz going. Makes work a little easier. Makes whatever you're doing a little easier.
Yeah.
Or just relaxing. But do you drink IPAs?
There's one IPA. It was by this local brewery in Maryland, Raging Bull, I think it's called. I forget, but they have an IPA that I actually like, but no, I usually don't drink IPAs.
Oh, that's right, you texted me that the other day. Anything but IPA. I was looking at an IPA too. No, but I was never big into IPAs. The first IPA, or it wasn't an IPA, it was a craft brew.
Okay.
Micro craft brew, whatever. It was called Old Leg Humper, and it was a peanut roast. And this beer
that sounds good.
It was not.
What?
I drank.
Was it a peanut butter roast or was it just peanut roast?
It was peanut roast.
Okay.
But it was solid black, and it was just so goddamn tart and just so awful.
Like a Guinness or
no, dude, I'd rather.
Well, Guinness isn't tart, but this the look of it.
This drink was horrible. I mean, one of those shot glasses, the double shot glass. That's how much I drank out of it, and then I gave the beer to somebody else.
Oh my gosh.
But that was horrible, and that killed me. Because I'd see these beers, Sierra Nevada, IPAs or these Raw and Sun IPAs or Red Blend, and I'd be like, man, I want to try those. But that peanut beer would always come back to haunt me. Oh no, you bought this. You spent $9 on the 6-pack and you threw it away or you gave it away.
You know what? There's a problem with people. Like, there's a thing now where the bitter the beer is, the better. Like, there's this huge craze with IPAs. Like, oh, how bitter can you get your IPA to be? And it's like this whole thing. Why is that? Like, why can't you just enjoy a beer to enjoy the flavor? Why is it like, it's so disgusting, but I love it? You know? I was talking to some guys and were like, yeah, that's a total thing.
See, that's not the way I approach my IPAs. I only drink a handful of them. I'm not a connoisseur of, I know what I like.
Yeah.
I go with what I like. If I try something different, like I found some kind of, I can't remember what it was called, but it was in a red box. They were discontinuing it. It was an IPA. It was halfway. It was Cowboy Cold, and it was 50% off because they were discontinuing it. So I bought it, 12-pack of it for like $8. Can't beat that on IPA. You can't beat that on IPA. So I bought it, drank 4 or 5 of them to see if I liked them. I didn't really like it, so I gave it to Kelly, that we work with. Yeah. She loves IPAs, and that was her favorite kind. It happens. Oh. So I told her, hey, look at this Tom Thumb. They got them in their little clearance area, because they're discontinuing. And she told me she went and bought the rest of them. There was like 2 or 3 of them left when I bought it, so I don't know how many she bought. Grab that door right there.
Oh.
The wind is blowing my door open. My dog's not doing his job. He's sleeping. He's lazy. But I like the Sierra Nevada IPA Torpedoes. That's probably my favorite.
Never tried that.
It's good.
It's good.
That's my favorite IPA.
Okay.
I like the regular IPA by Sierra Nevada. I like the Raw and Sons IPA. What's that other one I tried? Oh, the Shinerbach Wicked Ram IPA. That is a damn good IPA. And Shinerbach is a Texas beer, so they're bold.
It's a whole
They're bold beers, They're more Texas, This is IPA and it's really good, but you got to get it really cold.
I like the Shinerbach. They're they have like a Christmas one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've tried that, and I like the Christmas.
Yeah, my cousin, he's into he doesn't like IPAs. He likes different brews though. He goes and tries the micro
different
brews,
ales,
the Dallas Blondes and stuff like
that.
And he keeps telling me to try the birthday cake or the birthday icing or whatever it is by Shinerbach. It's birthday beer, and apparently this beer tastes like icing. But I'm scared to go try it. Not only for one, I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to spend $11 on a 6-pack, and I'm definitely not going to drink something sweet because in my head, if it's sweet, I'm going to projectile vomit it off the balcony. But that's the thing that stops me. It's not that I'm worried this might taste bad. I look at the price and I go, what if I don't like it?
Well, they have like singles. You can I'm sure.
But see, if you buy the singles, you're paying $3 for a beer. If I'm gonna do that, I'll just go to this bar over here.
Well, then you have to tip.
I don't have to tip. You don't have to. Tipping. This is what I learned. This is what I learned. Okay. This is what I learned because I got a feeling you're gonna bring up a bartender story because you look like a bartender. But in North Carolina, we'd go to a lot of strip clubs and drink. Not necessarily. Sometimes we got lap dances, but for the most part, we would go on. When they had their specials because I'm cheap. I don't.
Well, you're not going to go back there,
Well,
or unless you're a regular on this place.
It wasn't even that. It was the fact that I don't like spending. Like I said with these paintings, I bargained for. I knew that was a good deal from the get-go, but I bargained to get it lower because I don't. That's one thing I hate about our job. We sell stuff for a markup, and it's such a markup that you have to have a coupon in order for it to be a decent price.
You can't bargain it down.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You have to pay it for this.
And the stuff is not even good stuff. It's cheap. It's. I guarantee you, if you take these paintings, right? Let's say they're just, a million. This right here, this was $230 retail. I ended up getting it for $85.
Yeah.
And it's just a picture. That's all it is. Somebody took a picture of a barn door. That's it. And they did the American flag effect.
Well, they paid the artists who took the picture.
And then they printed it, put it in frame, but $232
That's a markup. That's horrible.
That's got to be at least a 10%.
I wouldn't mark that higher than $50.
But say I ended up paying, with discounts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got that picture for $50-something or $70-something, I think it was. And then
you're paying more for the frame than that.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm thinking, what if I want to put a different frame around it? I gotta go find a big ass frame like that, or like we went to Bed Bath or Hobby Lobby is over there by Total Wine.
Love Hobby Lobby.
See, I like going in there and looking at their art stuff, because even though I know it's mass produced, it still looks good. And take those bulls, right? They sell stuff like that pre-painted, right? Like I said, millions of prints, put them on a canvas, make it look good.
Yeah.
Those would probably cost like $50 at Hobby Lobby.
Oh yeah.
And at Kohl's would probably sell that for $60.
No, definitely.
And really, that's a $5 painting.
Yeah.
You
were drinking while you
I
were
was
doing
drinking
it.
while I was doing it. And it took.
One has alien eyes. One looks like kind of like from Dragon Ball.
But and that's a quick plug for Painting with a Twist. You get to drink and paint pictures. Me and my wife painted up bulls' heads. They turned out pretty good. We didn't get drunk. I don't know if they limit you.
They definitely don't want you to be like,
But I mean, they're
going crazy.
I'm sure you could walk in there with a fifth of Jim Beam and some Coke, and they'd be perfectly cool with it as long as you don't get out of hand. Because the instructors there, I think the dude who did us, who was our instructor for the painting, and showed us, how to, the fade and to do the outlines and suggested what colors we used, but ultimately we could do whatever color we wanted. I think he was high. I think he was stoned.
Probably.
Because he was just up there, he had his own canvas to show us. And he does this every day, so it may have just been he was bored. But to me, he looked high, and he was doing his thing, and his bull came out, 20 times better. Even though it's kind of abstract-y, his bull came out beautiful. But like I said, he does it probably 50 times a day.
Oh, and if you're high, you enjoy it, I guess, a lot more.
That's like when I was telling you, when I worked at the grocery store before I had responsibilities there. I'd come in and block, I'd face everything.
Yeah.
I'd be stoned out of my mind, but the store would look clean. Because I didn't have to deal with nobody. I just focused.
You're general manager. How do you do this? What's the secret?
Just, hey, man, go get stoned and then come to work. I'm not advocating getting stoned and going to work. I'm just saying that's what I did a couple times when I worked at a grocery store.
Someone hearing this is like, oh, well, he did it.
He did it. I don't even know who the fuck he is, but he did it.
Johnson, get off your butt. I'm hot.
I almost got caught one day. Philip, manager at the time, he come in. He said, "Hey, I just had a lady complain that you smelled like marijuana." And I said, "That's funny because this is the actual one time I'm not high while I'm here." And he was like, "To be honest, I can't tell when you're high or not. So I'm just letting you know." And I was like, "Well, I don't give a fuck because I'm not high." And I was like, "I'll come in high though. I can be back in 5 minutes." I literally lived like 50 yards from the gas station. I could run to my house on a lunch break and come back. I mean, that's how close I lived to this grocery store. I was like, I can go get stoned and come to work. He was like, no. It's like, you won't tell the difference. So what's? But yeah, I'd go to work stoned. Block the store if I was scheduled to block. We worked, because just like here where we work, we have trucks.
Yeah.
And you've worked some trucks. I've worked trucks. We had trucks at the grocery store every Monday and Thursday. Kind of the same schedule here, except here it's Tuesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just down to Thursdays. But at the grocery store, we got our big trucks on Thursday, with all the grocery stuff. Monday's truck was mostly for dairy, meat market, frozen foods. And,
okay.
A little bit of grocery stuff, condiments and pack, sliced cheese, all that stuff, canned soup.
But mainly it was a big cooler.
Yeah. And then Thursday was, grocery truck, the big trucks.
Yeah.
And, at our store, we have like 20,000. This truck tomorrow is going to be like, I think Janice said 26,000 pieces. It's going to be a big ass truck. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Well, yeah, damn right it's going to go quick. At 11 o'clock, I'm off. I don't care if we're done or not.
I know, same here.
I'm out the door. But, we here we do it early in the morning, I get to work about 4:30. You get there about 6. But I get there about between 4 and 4:30, start helping. And we do it early in the morning before the store opens. There, you don't start truck till 4 in the afternoon. The truck comes at 2.
Gosh.
The truck comes at 2, between 2 and 3. I would be there.
What?
I would be there around 3 o'clock. Me and another guy, Josh. We would be there to start, because the drivers have to do paperwork and take inventory to make sure nothing's broke or,
Yeah.
They have to do like a check thing. Check sheet, checklist, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. I'll edit this later. But we'd do that, and then, we'd unload like You know, we get big pallets of water during the summertime. Well, they had their own special holding area, so we'd unload all the water for them. That was for our store, and put it up. And then by the time we got done doing that, and during deer season, deer corn would come in. So we'd unload the deer corn, the mass stuff, the big stuff that goes together in certain areas. We'd unload that, and then around 4, everybody else would get there, and we'd start unloading. We'd have the truck unloaded, and we'd start breaking down the pallets that had everything on it, putting it on we call them 6-wheelers, but they're U-boats.
Okay.
But we call them 6-wheelers, and we'd, all the condiments, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, pickles, vinegar, all that stuff goes on aisle 1. So put that on this U-boat. But aisle 3 is all the Mexican food. That's the Mexican food aisle and the Asian food.
So you had carts almost like for each aisle.
Yeah, like here, how we have 33 and 8. It was kind of like how it was aisle 1.
Like departments, only your aisles were your departments.
And we had 12 aisles. 14 if you count the frozen food aisles. But those got done on Monday by the frozen food guy. And we did the grocery stuff. And we would work from about 4 to almost 1 in the morning, unloading the truck, breaking the stuff down, and then putting the stuff on the floor, and then backstocking what was backstocked. And goddamn, I hated Thursdays. I would work Monday's truck, but it was easy. And but Thursdays was.
It was the same thing every
Thursday.
Time. Oh my gosh.
And then finally we got to where the store manager, he had left and went to work at a power plant to get he'd get paid a lot more. And they were like, hey, we need somebody to take over this. Do you want to do it? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So then I took over. Basically, when the trucks come in, it was just me. And then at 4, Josh and everybody else would show up. Sometimes Josh would come in early and help me. For the most part, it was me getting the trucks unloaded, getting everything ready. And then when I got promoted to do produce, I had to do produce trucks on Wednesdays. So Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm working a truck, unloading a truck. And produce sucked because even though it's only like 5,000 items, mostly 800 potatoes, 800 heads of lettuce.
Yeah.
You have to unload that off of a frozen truck that's cold as shit, put it in a freezer that's cold as shit, and then you have to put that produce out, and the produce is cold, so your hands are cold handling this. I mean, it was nothing, dude. I'd go to work to do produce trucks at 4 in the morning. Every day, get there at 4, unload the truck, have the truck unloaded and everything done by 9 o'clock. That was the goal. Just me by myself. And this 5,000 to 8,000 items. And it sucked. God, I hated that. That's probably the worst job I had there. Doing produce until I got it because there was a guy named George, black guy, and he got arrested for an old warrant. And without him there, the other guy, John, another guy named John, he wasn't going to do it. He was lazy. He's kind of like that guy we won't mention. He was lazy. And but yeah, I'd get stoned, go work the truck.
Well, I'm sure if
I'm blocking today just for a couple hours. Hey, I'm getting stoned. When the contractor I worked for gets stoned, go build a house. If the owners knew that, they'd be like, "What the fuck? Never hiring this guy again." But he would, we'd get stoned and go re-level somebody's house for him, and they wouldn't know. He
think you're normal.
We were underneath. We were underneath the lady's house, and he just pulls it. He's like. This lady had a big house, and we're hauling these like almost railroad steel beams underneath. There's 4 of us, and these things are heavy, and we get maybe 5 of them done a day. It takes us 2 weeks to level this lady's house, and we're all using these metal beams. And this lady, we're underneath the house. He's like, I don't want to crawl out. I'm too tired. He's like, I think we're just going to have lunch here. Everybody take a nap or something. And we're like, whatever, that's cool. It's daylight number 2 or 3. All of a sudden, I start smelling something. Because he crawled to this area. All of a sudden, I'm like...
I don't know what that is.
So I crawled to him, and he's like... I don't have to ask him or nothing. He just... Here you go. Like, we can sit up. The house is off about 2.5 foot off the ground. So we're kind of, sitting back, leaned up. And he just hands it to me. He sees me crawl over underneath the beam, and he hands it to me. Here you go. And then, we got stoned, finished up for the day, came back, finished, Or he did a lot of roofs. And on days we did roofs, I could not smoke. He'd get high and go up there and do it.
But
I was too
vertigo or something.
I'm not a paranoid. When I smoke, or when I would smoke, I'm not a paranoid person, you know. I get creative. I want to do stuff.
Yeah.
But going up on a roof, carrying shingles, no, I'm sorry. I'm a little too uncoordinated to do that right now. So I'll be down here and I'll just, I'll make sure everything stays okay.
Oh my gosh.
How long have we been recording this thing for? An hour?
An hour, 24 minutes?
So an hour 24 plus the open gives you about an hour and a half. That's pretty good.
No, that's actually pretty good, especially for first.
I wonder if it's going to turn out. That's what I wonder.
What?
Like when you heard, when I played the opening for you, I wonder if this is going to, the past hour and a half of us talking is going to be as clear as that.
It should be.
I hope it is.
I mean, plus you don't have the thing going beep anymore, so that makes it a little...
You're gonna jinx it. Hey, that thing, we're supposed to, I got that going on, so I can't have them come put a new battery in without them seeing that.
Oh, what's that light in there?
Yeah.
It's just my asparagus.
Yeah, fucking tomato plants. Leave me alone, guys.
Bamboo.
Well, yeah, we got bamboo right there. Okay, everybody, that was my part one with Jacob. He's gonna be back, and we're gonna continue this 2-man clusterfuck. Right now, this is the first episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I never had any kind of broadcasting. If y'all hear that, that's a plane going over. We live about 15 minutes from the DFW airport. So planes come over our apartment real low all the time, and sometimes they're a little too loud. I wish I could complain, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna worry about it. Ain't gonna cause a fuss. Nothing to plug. No sponsors. Not like it really makes a fuck anyway. This ain't on nobody's. This ain't on iTunes or there's no app for this yet. Maybe it'll get there one day. It'll definitely go to iTunes, and I'll start a YouTube page. I'm thinking about starting an email for this, so y'all can send me questions and suggestions and criticisms and stuff like that. I think I'm just gonna, BS around with Jacob for a little bit longer. He's still here. He's in the bathroom though. So I'm doing while I do the close of this show. But he will be back at a later date. We just gotta, get our schedules together and see what works best. While we were off the air, we were thinking about doing a beer tasting episode. Where we just go get some beers and different beers and we try them and we taste them and we give our opinions on them. And it's not like we're fucking beer experts. We're just two regular guys. We go by whatever tastes good, or I don't know. We just kind of wing it. We wing it. We play it by ear. My birthday's this weekend, so I'll probably be drunk. I hope I will. I haven't got to actually celebrate a birthday in a while. What else? Cooper, you got anything to add? No? Just gonna sleep? Alright, well, that's our show. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know. And I'll catch our asses down the road.